Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today I'm really excited to be bringing to you a bunch of random stuff. Okay, I'm mildly excited, and hopefully you're as mildly excited as I am, because I do have literally a pile of random comics that I've picked up here and there, gifts, antique stores, eBay, Kickstarter, the whole gamut. So why don't we just dive right in, so I can show you just how random this pile of stuff is. I want to start off here with a shout out to my mother-in-law, which does not collect comics, but she knows I do, and she bought one. I don't know if it was for me initially or just because she was interested. She was for herself. I don't know, but she bought it, didn't care for it, and so she gave it to me, and you can see why she didn't like it. Here, it's Archies Parables, one of the Al Hartley Spire comics, although, interestingly enough, you may notice this is not from Spire. Yes, it's a New Barber Christian Comics. The New Barber is a company that took over for Spire. Now, I don't think they did any new comics, even though it says New Barber Christian Comics. I don't think any of the thing in their line of comics was new. But they basically reprinted all of the, or some of the Spire comics. So there's a house ad on the back of it here. More comics coming. And the comics that are supposed to be coming, I recognize all of them except one. And that one's mostly obscured behind something. So I think it might just say Jesus. I don't know. But I already have a copy of Archies Parables. I'm trying to put together specifically a full run of all of the Archie Spire comics, but more broadly, all of the Spire comics. Now, I have most of the Archies. The other Spire, I have some of them, but I couldn't say I even have half of the other ones. But I have a fairly robust collection, so I already have a copy of Archie Parables. But the copy that I have is one of the Spire copies, not one of the Barber. So the price on here is 59 cents, which was quite a deal because this did come out in 1986. So by 86, Marvel and DC had both moved to 75 cents, I believe. That was right around the time that Marvel was moving from 65 to 75. But here they are, 59. Now there are some later print runs where the price, I know there's 79-cent versions. There may even be 99 cent. I think they may have actually been printing these as late as like the very early 90s. My experience is that the New Barber issues are a lot harder to find than the Spire ones. So I'm fine with having two copies. I'm not sure I'll keep both of them. I might just keep the Barber one. I don't know. But it's a cool thing to have. So again, thank you to my mother-in-law for that. A little while back, I stopped in a antique store that I knew had a bunch of comics, but it had been about 3 years since the last time I had looked at that store, and I was disappointed I didn't really find anything. I looked through a lot of the boxes, and they've been really picked over, and just nothing of interest to me. But one of the booths there also had some collections, some graphic novels, stuff like that, and I picked up this. It's the Complete Chase trade. Now this is normally $30. That's the price on it. I paid $8 for it at this store, and it's in fine shape. Chase is a comic from the 90s that only lasted 8 or 9 issues or something, but it's always had a really good reputation. It's sort of like a cult classic sort of thing. Now I have Chase #1. I have read the first issue before, and it's fine. It didn't really grab me that much. But you know, considering how highly recommended this is, I thought I'd give it a try. And one of the big draws is that it's J.H. Williams, who not long after this would go on to do a Promethea, which is awesome, and then later he did the Batwoman series, and his art is just absolutely fantastic. So that's very exciting. I'm not sure if he did the entire series or what, but it comes highly recommended. So I thought for that price I couldn't pass it up. So I have a lot of comics to read, though. I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. I reread, so this Chase's first appearance was in an issue of Detective Comics, I think. So it starts with that. Yeah, let's see. No, Batman 550, and then Chase 1 through 9, and then a bunch of other appearances. So I read the Batman 550, the first appearance, and it was fine as a bit of a backdoor pilot, I guess. Chase number 1, again, fine. The premise is fine. Didn't grab me. The art's cool, but I guess I got to get myself in that 90s headspace, because the 90s had a lot of great comics. So we'll see. But anyway, that's that there. Okay, now here for a new book. Conan the Barbarian recently relaunched with this new company, Titan, that's doing it. And I got the Free Comic Book Day prequel, issue 0 or whatever it is. And the art's great. And it was cool. But the reason I picked up issue 2 here, and I want to shout out to MRP for reminding me that this existed and had come out, so I immediately went online and grabbed one, is because of Dan Parent, the Archie artist, did this variant for issue 2, which is, of course, the classic Archie 3 on a soda, except for, as you can see, they're drinking out of a skull, and it's Conan with Belit and Valeria. So, yeah, I mean, I have a fair number of Dan Parent variant covers at this point. And I do like Conan quite a bit. So I had to pick this one up. And it was actually quite cheap on eBay. I just paid $3 plus shipping for it. So it was less than 10. Yeah. If you're a fan of Archie or Conan, or particularly if you're a fan of both of them like I am, then you'll want to check this one out. So that was cool. So thanks, MRP, for reminding me. I'd seen a preview for that, and then I just completely blanked. All right, so here's a couple books that I got off of Kickstarter. I have a bunch of stuff coming from Kickstarter soon, because I currently have a Kickstarter live myself. The link's down below. It's for my first trade collection, collecting Crime Busters numbers 1 through 5. And whenever I have something live on Kickstarter, I spend a lot of my energy is with cross-promoting people. And that means looking at a whole bunch of other people's campaigns, and inevitably I end up buying a whole bunch of comics off of Kickstarter. And here's some stuff that I got last time I was live, but I've got a bunch of stuff, of course, that I've ordered recently that hasn't come in yet. But first, Black Falcon, number 1 and 2 from Max Hauser. So here's number 1. He's the writer. Here's number 2. Cover here, J.C. Grand. It has a very looks a lot like the artist Dino. 2 very different issues. They're in black and white. This is basically a superhero, pretty straightforward superhero story where the vigilante is being sort of stalked, harassed, I think is the right word, by one of his enemies, and he just gets sick of it and kills the guy. And then issue 2, completely different. There's like a whole storyline where he time travels to the like medieval period, but it turns out to be a dream sequence. But anyway, I wanted to support these. I have quite a big collection now also of self-published indie comics, a lot from Kickstarter, but also from local conventions. So I'm getting close, I think, to a whole short box of stuff. So at some point, I've shown a lot of them before individually, but I might go through that whole box at some point, do a long box archaeology, and just show off like all of that stuff. And here's another one that I got from Kickstarter. I've mentioned this before in some of my live streams. It's The Mighty Car The CroMagnon by Fish Lee. I really like Fish Lee's art style. It's just I'm trying to find a good example here. It's cartoony in a really good way, and by cartoony I mean like it looks like an adult cartoon sort of thing. Like the bright colors, it looks cool. He's also, he's a storyteller, so we get some old school. Check that out. Does anything beat a classic 9-panel layout page? I need to do some of those in my own books. Yeah, it's great to see the old 9-panel. You always think of Steve Ditko when you see that. Officially and we did a cross promotion when my first issue of Quest was out. We did a cross promotion where anybody who backed both Car The CroMagnon and Quest got a special exclusive print featuring Ka and my main character Vest the Paladin. So here's what that looked like. I ended up accidentally printing too many of them, but here there's officially his version of Vest and Ka fighting back to back against the horde of enemies. So of course I had to get it myself. Really cool, a lot of fun. I wish there was more of it. So the story here is only 12 pages. So and it ends on a cliffhanger. So I wish it was longer. But I'm sure that Fish is going to be doing a second issue soon. Cool book to keep an eye out for. If you do any of the Kickstarter stuff, it's a fun fantasy sci-fi mashup thing. And then finally, here is a back issue from eBay. It's Golden Age. It's one that I've been looking for a while. You may remember me talking about this in some previous videos. It's National Comics number 67. Now, as you know, those of you who've been watching for a long time, in the comics that I do, one of the Golden Age public domain characters that I've revived and sort of reimagined for the purposes of my story is Granny Gumshoe, who I'm a huge fan of. Granny Gumshoe, only appearances other than my comic, as far as I'm aware, anywhere, were in National Comics 57 through 70. So I'm trying to get a complete run of that. And then once I have them all, I'm going to put out a 100-page giant where that reprints all of her Golden Age appearances in one square-bound comic. And the other thing I've decided I'm going to do with that, because I want it to be a 100-page giant, but I think her stories are only about 75 pages. 70, 76, in that range, like 75 to 80, all told. She never appeared on any of the covers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a new National Comics cover starring Granny Gumshoe for all 14 issues. So when you get the 100-page giant, there's going to be a cover that relates to whatever that issue's story was of the Granny Gumshoe story. So like the first one is the one of the puppet. When we get to the issue that introduces Jake the dog, we'll have Jake on the cover, etc. So whatever is happening in the story, just to imagine what the series would have looked like if Granny Gumshoe had the cover feature instead of Barker, a character that I haven't really even read these Barker stories, but it's a like cast of carnies, so it feels very 40s to me. So anyway, that's what I'm planning on doing, and I was missing 2 issues, but now I'm only missing 1. So I'm only missing issue 70, National Comics number 70. The last issue that she appears in is the only one of these I'm missing. I missed out on one a couple months ago that sold on eBay, unfortunately, but and I have not been able to find another one anywhere yet. So I'm going to keep my nose to the ground. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground. Still going to look out for that number 70, and then once I get 70, in addition to all that stuff I just said, I'm sure I'll also do a video where I show you the whole run of National Comics 57 to 70. So really excited to get the penultimate one that I was missing. I'm in the process of reorganizing my comics. I actually don't know where some of the National Comics issues are. I had just gotten a pile of them recently, and those I all know because they were all like together. but I don't know where the ones that I already had were, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to track everything down. But I'm out there actively looking for number 70. So hopefully in a video coming to you soon, in a video, I'll have the completion of that quest. But that's it for this time. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you next time.